ready for pain? Are you ready for suffering? If the answer is yes, then you're ready for Captain Freedom's workout.
Alright, so welcome to OSW Review, the old school wrestling video podcast filmed in glorious grapple vision. And tonight at the Survivor Series 88, Hulk Hogan brings down the Twin Towers.
Here in the Survivor Series, this fivesome, superstars one and all are going to be facing Jake the Snake Roberts, Hacksaw Jim Duggan and company, and Bobby Heenan. You've got men involved in this. Obviously, you've got a great deal invested.
Oh, I have a lot invested. But I want you to picture something. Picture Scott Casey standing there in that ring. Picture Tito Santana standing there.
Sure.
Picture Hacksaw Duggan standing there with the Olympic strongman Ken Patera.
Sure.
And right behind him, Jake the Snake Roberts. And eventually these giant hands will be around your neck, Mr. Roberts, squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. I hope you had a nice Thanksgiving dinner. It may be your last.
All right, co-captain Dino Bravo, certainly you've got to be thinking Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Oh, it's a great event, and you're looking at 7 people that are going to make the best out of it. And that's right, that's no secret. I'm coming right at you, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Because I know by humiliating you, I'm going to put a little bit of shame in every American in the United States of America.
Another one of the Bobby Heenan family members, ravishing Rick Rude.
You know, Divot Head, myself along with my partners, the 8th wonder of the world, the master of masters, Harley Race, the world's strongest man, Dino Bravo, and Mr. Perfect. We will show the world how to celebrate Turkey Day the ravishing way.
All right, things have been going pretty good thus far this Thanksgiving. They've been perfect, right, Kurt?
Absolutely perfect. And if you take a look into these eyes, you know the confidence that is built up. We have a fivesome here of the greatest multi-talented athletes in the World Wrestling Federation. I would call that the perfect combination.
All right, lastly, the comments recently of Jake the Snake Roberts, where he has indicated that Damien has been on a bit of a diet and that he could be unlike you after a big Thanksgiving dinner. Very hungry, Andre.
I don't care about that. I don't care where he is, but I know where I take my team. Last year I take it to victory, and this year I will do it again.
Joining me now, the team of 5, co-captained by the MegaPowers and Macho Man Randy Savage. A lot of scores to be settled tonight.
Oh, yeah, the Survivor Series, yeah, and all over the world, yeah. People are feeling the electricity, but this team here, the MegaPowers, is bonded together.
You see one thing, Macho? When you're hot, and when you're not, brother. How can we lose with the stuff we're going to use tonight? Isn't that right, Hill?
Okay, adding to this team of 5, Hillbilly Jim.
Hootie, let me tell y'all something right now. All over this great country, it's Thanksgiving, and God bless America. Let me tell you something, son. Them boys are going to feel the heat from this old kitchen tonight. Whoa.
Each man having his own reasons for stepping into the ring. One man in particular, the mighty Hercules.
You got that right. The mighty Hercules has always stood alone, but he's found out now that he don't have to anymore. Welcome to the jungle, $1 Million Man. With these animals beside me, you're going to find out you can't always get what you want in DBS. You're going to get what you need, man. Yeah.
I mentioned reasons. Hulk Hogan certainly be looking for the big boss man.
Just like the 24-inch pythons are the largest arms in the world, just like Hulkamania has ruled for 5 long years, there are no weak links in this chain, man. The Mega Power team has been bonded as one, brother. Body, mind, soul, physical ability. When the mighty Hercules stood in the Pacific Ocean, when we had our seance, when we raised our hands, united ourselves as one, we were struck down as Hulkamaniacs. And I actually feel sorry for the team on the other side. Akeem, the big boss man. Haku, the Red Rooster, the multi-million-dollar man. As far as I'm concerned, when I look across that ring, each and every one of those guys has got a dollar sign planted on their head. And each and every one of those guys looks like the big boss man. The Macho Man knows what he's got to do. We've got an aerial assault. We've got a mountain man. We've got the strongest man in the world. And what you gonna do when Hulk Hogan and the Mega Powers run wild on you?
Okay, so this is Survivor Series 1988 from the Richfield Coliseum in Richfield, Ohio. Announcers Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse Ventura. So, yeah, another episode. How's it going, Steve?
Which one?
Oh, yeah, man, you just ruined the surprise. You haven't been here in like 4 episodes.
Oh, no.
Okay. Hey, V1, how's it going?
Not too bad.
And here comes a returning character a la Royal Rumble 2002. It's Mr. OOC,
Alright.
the COO of OSW.
Yeah, why not? You got a stage walk, isn't it?
You guys all watched the Silver Vision version?
Yep.
Well, you have to, because it came. I couldn't find unfortunately couldn't get our hands on the WWE Anthology version, but it's probably for the best in this case.
Probably.
Alright, so we get a cold open. There's no WWF Top Gun signature, just the Survivor Series logo, and Cut the Mean Gene welcoming us before getting right into it. Okay.
Skyrim logo. Just for this week.
Alright, so we got tag team action. 10-man tag team action. Yeah, so the heels are out first, led by co-captains, the tag team champions, Demolition, and their awesome team. Introducing the Conquistadors, who are, if you care, it's
Edge Christian.
It's like Rene Dupree and Eugene, actually.
Oh, God.
It's, Jose Luis Rivera and Jose Estrada Sr., the father of Jose Estrada in Los Boricuas in 98. The Bolsheviks with Slick, which is Nikolai Volkov and Boris Dukov. The Brainbusters, Aaron Anderson and Tully Blanchard, that's one half of the Four Horsemen, with Bobby Heenan. And the Fabulous Rougeau Brothers with Jimmy Hart.
Why was Slick with the Russian lads? Makes no sense.
Oh, it's one of those, he's a heel manager, so it's just, here you go, we're delineating your heel, and Bobby Heenan's not taking you on.
Back in the day, sure, there was just a manager had random wrestlers, like, and it was just the way it was.
Sure, why would...
I suppose it's true.
Yeah, no, yeah, I was thinking, why would Heenan take on Ken Patera for a little bit, like... But,
Why would anyone take
Why
on?
would anyone take
Well, because maybe they don't want the brick thrown through their window.
Oh, God. Alright, so they're taking on the face team of the team leaders, the Powers of Pain, Barbarian and Warlords, who are now higher on the tag team total poll than the rest of these guys. The Young Stallions, Paul Roma and Jim Powers, the Hart Foundation, Brett and Anvil, the Rockers, who are debuting, former two-time AWA champions, as the Midnight Rockers from AWA, and the British Bulldogs, and Cunt Dynamite, and...
With his awesome pedo tash, did you see it? All the children around the world quiver in Was this the Rockers' first time in the WWF, or was it their pay-per-view debut?
Pay-per-view debut. They would have been doing some house shows beforehand, but this is their big pay-per-view debut. Actually,
Great song.
They were actually signed about a year ago from the AWA. And
in 2010.
In 1987, and they went out to a bar and trashed a hotel bar and got immediately fired afterwards. So they went back to AWA for a year and then got called up again. Actually, yeah, Brainbusters from because they're with Bobby the Brain Heenan, and they do the Brainbuster. So they're part of the Four Horsemen in the NWA for over 2 years at this point. They left the NWA, dropped the tag belts to the Midnight Express. Not the new Midnight Express, the old Midnight Express. Stan Lane and Bobby Eaton. Before signing with the Fed in September. And like the manager of the Four Horsemen, JJ Dillon, he'd come in 5 months later, sign with the Fed. Do you know his real name is Jim Morrison? JJ Dillon.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so there you go. Maybe, never mind.
And JJ Dillon, that was the guy who was set to take charge of WWF if Vince went down for the riots, right?
Very good, yeah. He was got a prominent role in the front office when he came in. Alright, should we get started on this match? How long is that?
Whatever.
This match, alright, there's only 4 matches on this pay-per-view, but only 2 of the matches, this pay-per-view is only 2 hours long, but only the opening match here, the tag match, and the main event were intact.
No.
The other 2 were cut to shit.
Main event was definitely cut, but it just wasn't cut as badly.
Okay. Because we're definitely missing...
They cut the wrong match.
Yes.
Big time.
Yeah, they cut the wrong... This one went, 42 minutes or something.
Hold on. Now, you warned me about the match, but I found it actually, I know it was incredibly long, could have been 15-20 minutes, but it wasn't that excruciating.
Oh, I was pulling hair by the end of this.
Was that because of the length of it though, or because of what was happening in the ring?
I think they're both.
I think a mixture, yeah, because it just, the match didn't make sense, because you'd have the heels beating, like the faces battering the heels for long portions of it and stuff like that, and I don't know, I hated it. I absolutely hated it.
With 20 people in the match, there's no real story that's told. It's just come in for a few minutes, change, come in for a few minutes, you know.
They coped with the sheer numbers of people that were blocking the action from last year. Because remember in the 10-man tag match, we were just flipping out. And this year they just kind of raised the camera a bit so you could actually see a bit more of the action.
As opposed to like the crotch shots between the legs.
So, you know, kudos there, but I don't know, 20 men in a tag match is just bad.
But one thing I did notice, and we say it all the time, but that was 10 tag teams that were all had a gimmick.
Yeah.
They all had a name. They were all wearing the same ring attire, bar I think the Brainbusters were wearing slightly different, but that's fantastic.
It was amazing, and it was just as good as last year's, you know. But did you notice that not one face team had a manager? Yeah, it's just really smart booking. Like, only heels have managers. I thought that was awesome.
Are there any face managers? I know.
Other than Liz, I don't think so.
What about your man Arnold Scoland? But that was before.
He wouldn't be.
He was too busy on the sites, you know.
He was in the Piledriver video. Like.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, you thought of Brett Shawn DVD. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Shawn mentions that when they were in the AWA, it was brilliant that they were small guys and they were fast because they could sell for the heels really well, and so they could get sympathy really good. So they were loved in AWA. And when they came to the Fed, it was a problem because they were so small. So they had to overcome that. So.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I thought Jannetty was by far the best wrestler in that match. He did a beautiful hip toss counter at one point, and another where nice double team sunset flip over the ropes into a pin. Beautiful. I was very impressed with Jannetty, I have to say.
Cool. I will second that. As a kid, I always loved Marty more than Shawn, but watching this, he was a damn good worker, and
bumping like crazy.
Yeah, and did you notice that I think it was quite early on in the match that HBK did the Daniel Bryan spot where someone whips him into the turnbuckle and he kind of, you know, runs up them and does the backflip as the other guy runs in, but it was nowhere near as good as Daniel Bryan's. I just thought I'd say that.
Alright, Hitman telegraphs a back body drop and gets a small package eliminating Ray Rougeau. Do you remember last time we were talking about the Rougeaus and Dynamite, that the Rougeaus thought the Bulldogs cut up their clothes, and you know, it was Hennig. Dynamite knocked the shit out of both of them, and then Jock came back and knocked Dynamite's teeth out.
Oh, that's where he put the roll of quarters, wasn't it? Yeah.
Vince got a hold of them and said, listen, both of you stop it immediately. What happens was, since then, even though they were both tag teams and they both were trying to work a program with each other, just kept them apart. And after this show, Dynamite and Bulldog are gone from the WWF and the Rougeaus stay.
There's a lot of that happening in all of these shows.
Yeah.
It's like just constant walking out, people coming back, leaving. It's just wrestling's great, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's what we're missing. Something that they have when they say bring the attitude era back and blah blah blah. Besides the amazing talent pool, is that since you had two big companies, you didn't know who's going to walk in the door next.
Yeah.
And if they're a big talent, they can go face everyone on the roster because all fresh matches. And just don't get that today. So the Rougeaus leave the building immediately. They don't grab their bags, they don't change, just get the fuck out of town until the Bulldogs are gone from the WWF.
I did not know that. Did you cop that when Brett got tagged in just prior to pinning? Was it Raymond?
Yeah.
He got the biggest pop of the whole match. I think we actually made note there in the last show that we've kind of seen just Brett kind of, you know, slowly move up the card and get more popular and get more solid as a worker. You could really see just here that the fans absolutely adored him, and you know, in the midst of a sea of 20 men, and you know that Brett gets the biggest pop is definitely says a lot, you know.
Cool.
Yeah, I was wondering, how do you book or even call a match like this? You know, I mean, at least in the Rumble there's comings and goings, you know. But I mean, what? Like, how do you stop it turning into a clusterfuck? Which, in fairness, it was actually decently structured. For all its faults, it didn't really, until obviously the very end, turn into a complete clusterfuck.
I'll give you that it was structured. It just wasn't that interesting.
No,
to it.
there's that. Like, as well, why are pinfalls never broken up in a Survivor Series match?
Very respectful competitors. You're on your own. You have to go kick out yourself. Yeah. I guess another staple of the 80s.
Powers of Pain. So, what I assume that was Vince's take on the Road Warriors, yeah?
Yeah, as was Demolition.
That's just Demolition.
So that's the one.
And the Legion of Doom.
So, they were teasing a feud with Powers of Pain and Demolition. Yeah, but very strong indeed. Jim Powers, he was eliminated by Zukov, rolling through a very hesitant crossbody.
Jim Powers should have been in the Powers of Pain. That guy is fucking huge.
He'd be the Jim Powers of Pain. Actually, this is the last pay-per-view appearance of the Young Stallions. Apparently, they hated each other off screen.
Oh.
They split before WrestleMania 5 next year, and both become jobbers in between, and join the Four Horsemen. Is he the workhorse?
Did you notice Demolition? Essentially, their go-to spot was clubbing blows to the back. Just constant.
Yeah.
The axe handle smash.
And if there's one thing I knows about them, and I don't know if this is praise or not, but Smash was definitely the workhorse of that group, because Axe had nothing. He had no moves, he had no charisma, but still, Smash was in the match every 10 seconds.
Oh, he was probably off the timekeeper, he's getting his dialysis between tags. So Bulldog botches a flare bump after a poor back body drop earlier. And there was a great wrong corner spot by the Conquistador, right? He goes to the wrong corner. He's like, oh, where am I? Oh, I got the tag. It was great. So Brett hits a German, but the ref counts his shoulders to the mat. So he's out. And then the Rockers and the Brainbusters get double DQ'd. Oh, no jobs for either of you. And so we got Demolition and
which is fine, because they were both feuding with each other. So that, that makes sense in the long term.
And it shortened the match somewhat.
Yeah.
And so we got Demolition and the Conquistadors versus the Bulldogs and the Powers of Pain. So Smash delivers a clothesline to Dynamite. He had some nice offense actually before that. He's out.
I was very confused with the finish initially, and I'm still pretty confused. But
it's quite the precursor to WrestleMania 13.
Yeah. Brett and Austin have nothing on this. This was amazing.
But I have a few issues with it, but
do you want me to just go?
Yeah, go through it.
So Fuji stands on the apron for an ice age, and he inadvertently causes Smash to fall out of the ring.
Axe was the he fell out of the ring, back into the ring, and then out of the ring again. and so they had their little tussle at ringside. I don't know why Axe and Smash didn't go mental at Fuji and start kicking the crap out of him. But, at one point, Axe, just pushes Fuji, turns around and starts walking away. Why'd you do that? Fuck you, man. And then Fuji whacks him with the cane, and then we all know what happened.
Then Fuji and Axe argue until Demolition are counted out. The Powers of Pain help Fuji to get up. Fuji helps the Powers of Pain to actually get the win, and he has the new clients. Barbarian pins the Conquistador number 1 at 41 minutes 35 seconds, and they're the winners and sole survivors.
And I loved when Powers of Pain were lifting up Fuji and they start dusting off his shoulders.
That was an excellent spot. That was really good.
So Fuji swerve turns on the tag champions to side with the non-champions.
Yeah, that's my major issue with this. What is he to gain from that? Anyone?
Maybe they were an aggregate of 20 years younger.
well, that's definitely true. The only thing I can think of is maybe he thought Demolition got too big for their boots or something and needed more kind of people to boss around or something, and wanted these two clowns rather than, I don't know, or just Demolition got really popular with the fans and they wanted to turn them face.
Why didn't Fuji do the swerve on Demolition during a title match with the Powers of Pain and Demolition?
Yeah.
Probably would have been smarter. Maybe he wasn't confident enough that Powers of Pain could win the Survivor Series match with nothing on the line.
And did you also notice that the fans there were so baffled by what had happened that they started cheering when the Powers of Pain won and started lifting Fuji? They had no idea that these guys are now bad.
That's because it happened to ringside. Nobody could see what was going on.
Like, I don't have a kayfabe reason, but I've like a business reason for it.
Far away.
Which is that Demolition, since they came in the Fed, they've been getting babyface pops although they're heels. So they wanted to change them and turn them into babyfaces, so you'll have to lose Fuji. So let's have Fuji go with these guys. And Powers of Pain work better as heels anyway, so we want them to feud, so there you go.
Yeah, that's what I reckon. You know, kind of crowd turned Demolition face. And I'd just like to make the note that this was the first time that we'd see a big splash from the canvas tonight. It happens many times.
Alright, so overall, how was this match? I found it was, it zapped the life out of me. I needed a break after this match.
I'd say this match, I fucking hated it. It was probably 20 minutes too, well, I'd say maybe 15 minutes too long. And those 15 minutes, just each second made it worse for me. I hated it.
Steve, bring us up here.
I contend that it was the best match of the night. Hold on.
Okay, no, go on.
Hold on. Now, as I said, the length really kills it, but the actual in-ring action, in my opinion, is far superior to any of the other three matches. I thought the other... Well, we'll get to that, but... yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with what I saw in the ring, especially with Brett and the Rockers. Very entertaining.
Mr. Fuji, what in the world is going on? Did I see you tonight in the Survivor Series turn on Demolition?
Let me tell you, Gene, I made the Demolition. I made them champion. When I made them champion, their breeches got too big for them. Their head was swelling up. They thought they're no more than the master. So the master in turn hunted and searched, and I found these two. And they will demolish the Demolition, and they will make them suffer like pigs they are.
Wait a minute, stop right there, Mr. Fuji. I'm going to interrupt, if I may. Gentlemen, I don't know if this man can be trusted.
Demolition, SS Match. What are you gonna do now? You lose, Master Fuji. You better kiss goodbye for the World Championship title.
You know, Mr. Fuji, I've got to say this. I think the Demolition did as much for you as you did for them.
No way, Gene! I did everything for them. I made them work out, run, exercise. But they disrespect my discipline. And in turn, this is what's going to happen to them. I turn against them, yes, and they will pay.
All right, very quickly, any comment?
Demolition, you wouldn't listen. The powers of pain will listen to Master Fuji.
That's right.
All right,
They will
on
listen.
soon, Jesse Ventura. I don't think this man can be trusted. I really don't. Gentlemen, that's it. Please.
Okay, let's go into match number 2. Everyone's coming out to the Warriors themes all at once as well. Got co-captain, a lot of this co-captain business. Brutus Beefcake, the Blue Blazer, Sam Houston, your boy.
Yeah.
My boy. Jumpin' Jim Brunzell of Killer Bees fame. The co-captain, the IC champion, the Ultimate Warrior, who obviously squashed Honky Tonk Man at SummerSlam in 31 seconds for the belt. They're taking on the heel side, coming out the Honky Tonk Man theme altogether, is Captain the Honky Tonk Man, Dangerous Danny Davis, Greg Valentine, The Outlaw Ron Bass, and Bad News Brown with his Nation of Domination fist pose. Or MK3 Sub-Zero. Blue Blazer here, Owen Hart, he would have been 23 at the time, coming in straight from Stampede in Calgary. He also portrayed the Jushin Liger gimmick in New Japan a year earlier.
Oh.
So he was basically a job guy until he was re-signed in 91 and came in his own hat in the new Hart Foundation with the Anvil. Actually, Don Morocco would have been on the babyface team, but he left the WWF beforehand. Jumpin' Jim got a nice few payday. This match was just to get Warrior over, and yeah, it worked. So, what did you think?
Yeah, he's crazy Hogan, and he was fantastic. He didn't do much, but what he did was just... I mean, even looking back now, I still hate Hogan. But I look back at Warrior and I think, yes, he's just brilliant.
That's the thing, I find it hard to hate Warrior personally, because even though he's a nut job and he's delusional and he's a compulsive liar and everything, he's never done anything bad to the business. You know, he just wanted money and fame and women and whatnot, and you know, he thought he was a bit better than what he was, but you know, he's not like Hogan, who kind of sabotaged pushes and cost money and buy rates and probably turned fans away. And he was over like Rover. Fans adored this bloke.
Do you remember, I remember there's some wrestler was asking, it was back in WCW, he was asking Hogan, you've got $50 million in the bank, obviously before all the badness. And it's like, why are you still here? And it's like, because I'm only worth 20 million, brother. And it's like, right. And well, take all you can, I guess. Give nothing back. Valentine, who wasn't booked at SummerSlam, is in free fall until he teams with Honky Tonk Man next year. Rick Rude came up with the name Rhythm and Blues.
Oh, I did not know that.
There you go. Yeah, lots of jobbers in this match.
Yeah.
Lots of enhancement talent, and we'd see that kind of throughout the night, you know. The commentator single out Bad News Brown as a loner who doesn't team with anybody, which comes in for his elimination. Oh, it's hilarious now where the commentators say it takes Valentine 20 minutes to warm up, so they're at a disadvantage having him in early. It's like, that's so mean. Valentine's shin guard, if you noticed it. It was his gimmick that he'd have it on for protection, blah blah blah, but he'd reverse the shin guard and put it on his calf. So when he did the figure 4, it'd hurt more. And he called that the Heartbreaker, which he actually does in this match. Beefcake jobs out a 3D, dangerous Danny Davis, with a sleeper at 117. This match was cut to shreds.
I actually thought that this match was alright, the fans were up for it, but the hard cuts...
It was basically highlights. Just the finishes. Huh?
Yeah, they infuriated me. I was... I really angry towards the end of this, you know. Why was the show cut up so much? Was it to fit it on like a 3-hour cassette and put Piledriver on or something, or?
Yeah, it was to cut it down to 2 hours. So,
but cassettes are 3 hours long.
Well, back in the day, you got a cheaper one for 2 hours. So. What are you gonna do about it?
So
get on the internet.
So why did they cut this match? And not the first match, which was 45 minutes long.
I have no idea, because the second match was, I think, 17 minutes, and they cut it in half. If you cut out 10 minutes out of that other match, no one would notice. You know?
Absolutely not.
Bad News Brown grounds jump at Jim with a ghetto blaster and pins at 512. Obviously, not our 512. This is, like,
this is about 12.
Yeah.
Sorry, 0-12.
Brown walks out. He gets counted out after Hammer nails his partner by accident and causes dissension. Yeah. Then Bass power slams Sam Houston and gets the 3. The highlight for Mr. Bass. Honky pushes the Blazer off the top rope, and Valentine applies the Heartbreaker and gets the submission win. So we're down to 3 heels versus 2 faces. So we got Honky, Bass, and Valentine versus the Beefer and the Warrior. Beefer and Honky Tonk Man's feud splutters to a non-finish as both men get counted out. So it's
that's the second time in this show. Second time in 2 matches that we've had 2 people get a double DQ via count out.
I thought the Blazer was great. I thought he had a lovely kind of wrist lock into a Hurricane Rana. Very nice. You know my thoughts on Owen Hart and
they're positive, aren't they?
They're all positive, but if you remember me giving out about Martha Hart's book, it was terrible. But
she was very bitter in this one.
Yeah, very very bitter, and
understandably
she's come out and admitted that she's probably watched 2 or 3 wrestling matches in her life. Yet she goes on about Owen being high flying, and I really didn't see much of that as when he was Owen Hart. Okay, yeah, I mean he came off the top rope.
He did the missile drop
kick, yeah.
I think in the 80s that is high flying though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but when he was the Blue Blazer here, he was much more high flying than he was as Owen Hart.
Like jumping Jim, he didn't jump at all. Well, he did have his finisher, the flying bum tackle though. And so, you know, he was classed as a high flyer just for that.
But yeah, I was very
on that, and he's B like.
But yeah, very impressed with the Blazer. It's crazy. The sleeper was so over.
Yeah. That's what happened. See,
$1 Million Man. I reckon just that gimmick gets that move over. Do you reckon?
Oh, back in Ed Leslie was over back in the day as well.
Oh, that's right. The sleeper as well.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, sorry.
I think it's a case of the move is over. So when that move is applied, you don't get out of it. That's the finish.
Yeah.
So everyone goes mental when it goes on because they know that's the end of it.
How did Ed Leslie get away with wearing pink and black? Why did Red not punch his face in backstage?
Because he's not
That's
Triple
my
H,
fucking
like.
gimmick. Like.
He'd been wearing hot pink for a while, I think.
That's true. You know that over green.
Sorry, as I was saying about the sleeper hold, it's a glorified rest hold, you know? It's just terrible. Terrible move.
It doesn't really bother me. If you slap on a rear naked choke to someone, they're going to sleep in 8 seconds. That's it.
But it's not a choke though, is it?
Well, it's a blood choke. It's not a air choke.
Oh.
These days in the Fed, they do these kind of fake bullshit MMA moves. Like, oh, this is like my version of a triangle choke, which is just, here, just sniff my balls. And it's like, that's not a hold, And it's like, I don't know, maybe they think wrestling fans can't tell the difference, but just in a generalized, I'm just holding the arm or whatever, they have to apply a move, Anyway, so Warrior steamrolls the competition. You get a double clothesline and double axe handles, and the Warrior picks up the win.
What
as
was
the
that all
sole
about?
survivor.
I mean, he didn't even hit it. Like
An axe handle, and you're pinning 2 people. But where was his splash? That's what I want. We should be up to 3.
Saving that for Mania. The big splash off the canvas.
I'd really like to have seen the whole match and decide for myself if this was a good or bad match. But with the hard edits, you just can't, because it was absolutely butchered down to about 3 minutes. So
you get 8 decisions in 8 minutes, kind of thing.
Booking wise, job well done. Match wise,
too many jobbers in it. Too many. Who are these guys?
Yep. So after the match, Bad News Brown cuts a quick, decent promo. Saying that his partners are idiots, and he fluffs his line about wanting Savage. Something that doesn't happen today, really, where wrestlers today, they're kind of contained to their own storyline. Like, you'll never hear Jack Swagger talk about, I want Cena for the title, or, I want Mark Henry. They only talk about who they're in a feud with, which is not very real. Everyone should be going for the world title. And everyone has an axe to grind. Like, Macho Man, as soon as he came in, even if he's not feuding with them, he'll start slagging off Tito Santana, and he'll say, as soon as I get the IC belt, bad news for Hulk Hogan. It's like, there you go, this is reality.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gene. Joining me now, Bad News Brown. And Bad News, during your time here in the World Wrestling Federation, you have pretty much become a loner, and you proved that very much tonight.
I've been a loner all my life. I was raised on the streets of Harlem. You depend on nobody but yourself. And it was obvious tonight when you saw my own teammate hit me. The man is stupid, idiot. I don't need nobody like that. And as far as surviving goes, I survived on the streets of Harlem for many, many years, and that's not important to me. The only thing that's important to me is getting my hands on that so-called cheese champ who calls himself Randy Macho Man Savage. That's all that's important to me.
Well, there you have it from Bad News Brown. He wants to be the next World Wrestling Federation champion. Thank you, Gorilla. A break in the action here. Standing alongside me, Bad News Brown. And Bad News Brown, since joining the World Wrestling Federation, you have been a very independent soul. You very much proved that tonight. What happened out there?
Let me tell you, Beer Belly Sharecroppers, one thing. I smelt a conspiracy out there when my own teammate attacks me. I know that everybody in the World Wrestling Federation wants to be the first one to say that they beat Bad News Brown in the ring, but it's not going to happen. And let me tell you another thing. Survival Series means totally nothing to me. I've been a survivor on the streets of Harlem all my life. And there's only one thing that I'm concerned about, and that's the World Wrestling Federation Championship belt.
I thought the interview was terrible.
So did I, actually.
He said he buried the Survivor Series, or the Survival Series. He said it doesn't matter to him, he just wants the WWE title. I don't know. They're trying to get over. This is the second Survivor Series. They're trying to get it over as a concept, and he's burying it. He's only Bad News Brown. I'm sure nobody was listening, but still. And then he says, "I
don't know. You can whack that ghetto blaster for pretty high, Steve.
He's going for the belt, and he wants Savage, and he's been sending letters to Jack Tunney."
I think that's him. They're just trying to get over him as a loner, and I don't want to be around other people. But as you said, he did two things at the same time. Like it's
like 20 years later, and they're still trying to do the same shit with Big Zeke, and what they did with Ahmed Johnson and stuff like that. Just racist.
Okay, so we cut to a classic Warrior promo where he puts over the faces and that. And when the done was done, it was all over. Sure was. I always thought it was cool seeing Warrior post-match like without the face paint. Because,
I hated it.
Because he'll never, like, I found it was kind of rarity because he'd never come out without his face paint. You know, Sting does it all the time. Just put on my glasses today. But, like, with the Warrior, he'll always come out in his face paint, and depending on how gassed he gets in the match and how much he sweats, you might get to see his face. So I thought that was kind of cool.
I always thought as a kid that, you know, if his face paint was gone, you should put on a pair of, like, tinny mallet glasses or something. Just to hide his face. I wonder how many people have a clue who the fuck Timmy Mallet is.
Substantially less than Raw.
Back onto this promo, I thought it was difficult to understand what he was saying. He just came across like a bit of a gobshite, but my goodness, it was awesome. I don't care if I can't understand, if you seem like you have a learning disability. You're fucking amazing, end of story.
Like, Hogan has his babyface promo style, Savage is his babyface promo style. Here's a new one, completely different and just as awesome. Okay, match number 3, coming out one at a time to Jake's music. So we got co-captain Jake Roberts, Ken Patera, Tito Santana, the Scott Casey.
I actually have Scott someone written down. I never got his name, so couldn't be bothered to learn.
And co-captain Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Before we see the heels, we get some nice planted signs. Giant Killers, Hacksaw Jim and Jake. And a snake bite is better than a rude kiss.
I bet you it's not.
I'd take the piss.
Even a rude one.
They're taking on the heel side of co-captain Dino Bravo with Frenchie Martin, Harley Race, who looks like such a fucking jobber in that Survivor Series t-shirt, Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, who's also in the t-shirt.
Who also looks like a jobber. Yeah.
Before the neon spandex.
Big time.
Ravishing Rick Rude, and co-captain Andre the Giant with Bobby Heenan. And Gorilla immediately steals Bundy's moniker, calling Andre a condominium with feet.
He just keeps coming up with it, doesn't he?
He is on form tonight. Yeah, so this is the pay-per-view debut of Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, the former AWA champion. He got the Mr. Perfect gimmick. So we'll see what Terry Taylor got. Later. Scott Casey, you're wondering, is the babyface jobber from Texas. He actually holds a win over the Red Rooster. Oh, spoiler alert. He looks like Ron Bass.
He just looked like absolutely no one out there. You know, you could have thrown out me in a onesie and let me get pinned and it'd be no better or worse. I thought Jesse Ventura at the start of this match was absolutely brilliant when he just went absolutely mental on Jim Duggan, saying he's out of shape, he shouldn't be a co-captain, he's a nobody, he's a jobber, kind of thing. Great to have Jesse Ventura back after having superstar Billy Graham on the last show.
So Rude hits the Rude Awakening to Patera and gets the 3, and see you later, Ken Patera. He can take a ShamWow and go home. So Bravo denies Casey a roll-up and counters with a side suplex for the 3. Actually, Scott Casey, he obviously he's a jobber for the likes of like Sheik, Honky Tonk. You know when they have those wrestling challenge and it's like a star versus a jobber and gets the shit kicked out of him. That's him. This was his big night, obviously. He trained in Booker T. JYD was supposed to be in this match, but he left before the pay-per-view. So Killer B himself, Brian B. Blair, he got the nod, you know. But he knew he'd be a jobber, much like Jumpin' Jim, so he quit as well. So they're like,
really? So these guys are quitting rather than having a payday?
Yeah.
Because their gimmick meant so much to them. Oh, it's a different era. Oh, man.
So it's like the next person that comes around the corner gets a pay-per-view pay. It's like, jeez. Scott Casey. And much like Manning, he worked in a car dealership post-retirement.
Nice.
Gorilla exclaims, "What a curious pace of this match." And I was like, man, it must have been shit. So Tito kicks out of Race's Piledriver. He sneaks in a Valentine bump worthy on the timber spot. He downs Harley Race after his trademark flying forearms match. Andre was booked great here. He was like a dominant big man, slaps, chokes, butt bombs. He counters a sunset flip and sits on whoever gets the 3. The crowd pop huge for Duggan as he comes in and starts wailing on Andre and gets him the tied in the rope spot.
I love that spot. They don't do that enough in wrestling nowadays with like Big Show and stuff like that.
I did not like this match at all. I thought it was so slow, punch kick. It looked to me like Jake didn't want to know. It didn't seem like he was into the match at all.
Maybe he was waiting for his baggie backstage.
But yeah, the crowd loved Andre. Yeah, Duggan, not so much Jake. I mean, he got his DDT in at one point. Yeah, the crowd popped, but I didn't get the feeling that he was as over as I've seen him before.
Well, it would kind of be a bit of a sine wave, really, because this time last year being 1987, he was over crazy huge, and then at Mania afterwards, not so much here, but it'll come right back up again. So it's like kind of 2 peaks in his career, and he's about to get the biggest push of his career, feuding with Andre. So he'll be back on track in a wee bit. So I did think it's cool to see different wrestlers interact. Actually, going back to Rude versus Snake, they did interact, but I just didn't think it was enough. It was just over far too quickly.
And Jesse just kept on bringing up like Cheryl Roberts. Who is she cheering for? Blah 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 blah.
That was all Rude, actually. Putting Cheryl Roberts on his tights and being a heat magnet for that.
Yeah?
That was all him, yeah. So Duggan gets cheap shotted by Frenchie Martin and gets his 2x4 and hits Bravo and gets DQ'd. So Jake fuckity fuckballs, it's 4-on-1. Rude, Bravo, Perfect and Andre versus Jake Roberts by himself. And he doesn't do a honky tonk man run, he actually stays in place. Like a face should. Jake hits the DDT on Rude and gets the 3, and that is actually the end of their feud. That's that. Like, they did have a match at Saturday Night's Main Event a month prior, and it went to a DQ and Andre interfered and so...
Did any match in the 80s end clean? Because from watching these shows lately, and we give out about nowadays, but my goodness, it was far worse in the 80s.
I think the Survivor Series is the worst of it. Like,
yeah.
Because there's 10 falls in every match or whatever.
Yeah.
So only 2 of them are actual jobs. Like, yeah. The only people who job are the jobbers. Like the big guys rarely job, but it does keep them strong. But I guess it's not too bad because there might be, let's say, 6 or 8 Saturday Night Main Events and 4 pay-per-views. So you don't give out about DQ finishes as much as it was for every week, Yeah, Andre storms the ring and chokes the shit out of Jake.
He also bit him in the corner. That was great.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's actually a bit earlier in the night where someone was getting pinned and then Andre came in the ring and I was like, why is Andre trying to break up this spot? Anyone on the team should have went in.
Well, no, actually, I won't say anyone because you did have Harley Race on the team.
He's probably getting another prison tattoo, was he? Alright, so Andre repeatedly choking Jake. He breaks on 4 until he slips up and goes over the 5 and gets DQ'd.
He doesn't break on 4. It's the fucking ref goes 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. He does it on the 4th time. He finally counts to 5, and even Jesse the Body was like, "Just what's this ref doing? He's stupid. He's wrong." It really pissed me off. Like, rules are rules in wrestling. I probably say this every month.
Yeah.
But a rule should be kept there. You can't change a rule just to suit the match. It should be there. You should book around the fucking rules. It's not difficult.
I didn't notice myself.
Really? It's me.
I thought, like, holy shit, Andre's, he's booked like a fucking killer. It was great. He was just, like, because he was never really that heelish with, WrestleMania.
He was never a very violent wrestler, he was always kind of cartoony. But, he was just getting the corner, just mashing his poor face out of it.
I think that was kind of a killer edge he had, so that was one up on his Hogan feud, because it felt more like Heenan was kind of brainwashing Andre previously,
Yeah, I thought it looked great, that spot, but then when he was DQ'd, he just kind of very politely released and off he went down there. It just like the light switch went off,
But booking wise though, it actually made sense because it was kind of like job done. because he gets DQ'd, Roberts falls, and he just gets pinned. I thought that was good. This match was gutted so badly by editing that I just I can't even tell you if it was good or bad.
The editing didn't bother me. I quite enjoyed it. And so Perfect picks up the pieces and just gets the immediate pin on Jake without a move for the 3, and wins the match, so the heels win. Ventura just gets over how generous and magnanimous Andre was for sacrificing himself for the heel team. So the winners and survivors, Mr. Perfect and Dino Bravo. And Dino Bravo's team plays, because at this point Perfect doesn't have one. So.
That's right.
Andre doesn't have one.
And also played for the walkout as well.
That's right, yeah.
So he got a song played twice. Canada's strongest man, who eventually went on to be murdered by the Canadian Mafia.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Or is that still alleged, or admitting that? So Jake actually then he no-sells the last 5 minutes by clearing the ring with Damien post-match.
And Ventura even says, I don't think Jake's going to recover from this. The next thing is shot. Just wandering around.
Alright, so how was that match? Was it alright? I quite enjoyed it now.
I enjoyed the booking, but the editing destroyed the actual match.
I enjoyed the finish, and the match itself was, boring.
Okay.
Why wasn't Andre in the main event?
Well, there's 4 matches, so there's 4 things they try to get over, and so there's 4 feuds, so it's like Demolition versus Powers of Pain they're building to. Second match, get Warrior over. Third match, get Andre versus Jake over. Fourth match, get the Megapowers over.
Yeah.
So it's like, 1-1, so time for this, time for this, time for this, time for this, everyone gets over.
When you put it like that, this show actually kind of,
makes sense.
It's actually job done, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even though the matches suck balls, but job done. Well done, guys.
This is an enhancement paper, basically.
Yeah.
We cut to an exclusive home video interview with Andre with Heenan and Sean Mooney, where Mooney and Mean Gene actually hint that Andre is secretly afraid of snakes. And then they interview Jake in the same locker room set. Like, this is supposed to be, 10 seconds afterwards.
I'm just over here. Slightly to the left.
It wasn't even a different corner. It was the same set. And he gets over how serious the choking was from Andre, and it was like being, in a vice of a snake.
I actually thought that the Jake Roberts promo was the best part of the whole show. I thought it was fantastic. And I thought that even Andre's promo was pretty good, because normally you can't understand what he says. I thought it was pretty good, eh? So this little minute block was awesome.
Saved the show.
Yeah.
Gene, joining me now, Bobby the Brain Heenan, the manager of Andre the Giant and Andre the Giant. Now, Andre, you promised before this matchup that your team would indeed win this Survivor Series match, but I have to question the means by which
Just
you
like
did it.
last year, I promised you I'm going to take my team to victory. And I did, right?
Never lied yet.
What a good family we are, well.
The best family. And I love to see that miserable Jake Roberts in that corner choking and gagging. You see, without that miserable serpent he's got in his hands, he's not so tough, is he? He couldn't do nothing against this man.
Well, let's talk about Damien a bit. I mean, is there a phobia involved here? I mean, just...
What are you talking about, phobia?
Well, are you afraid of...
No.
I'm afraid of what?
Nothing.
I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not afraid of anybody. And Jake, I just show you today, I'm not afraid of you. And even you, Frito Santana. Jake, I know you're mine anytime.
Co-captain Andre the Giant and his team of 5 victorious here at the Survivor Series. Let's go back to you, Gene.
I do not envy Mr. Mooney. Quite obvious to me, Andre the Giant, a very tough customer, not only in the ring, but also on the spot for an interview. Obviously, we have witnessed a phobia. Andre the Giant, no doubt about it, is afraid of snakes. The fear is so evident to all that have seen it. Right now, standing by with Jake the Snake Roberts. Once again, let's go to Sean Mooney.
Well, thank you, Gene. We just witnessed a spectacular matchup here involving the team co-captained by Jake the Snake Roberts. And Jake, you suffered an incredible beating here. First of all, I want to talk about the fact that you DDT'd ravishing Rick Rude after suffering an incredible beating.
I didn't do too bad, when it's 4-on-1. I fought back a little bit, I'll tell you something, brother. I ain't no crybaby. No, sir, you want to send 4-on-1, that's fine. Here,
Slap me around like a little punk, huh? Treat me like a little baby walking around with my hands and feet, man, crying. No, sir, I ain't gonna cry. This is a business, and I take care of business. Damien takes care of business. And if you think that was something, Survival Series, brother, you got a year. You got a year. You got what you wanted to tonight. But in the next year, my man, I'll get every little bit I want from each and every one of you. And Giant, my big jolly friend, you won't be smiling. No, you choked the life out of somebody, brother. But you're going to find out this is one snake that does survive.
Okay, this one is far from over with Jake the Snake Roberts and Andre the Giant. Jake, let's talk quickly about the choking that you received from Andre the Giant, which put you out of the Survivor Series.
What can you do, man? The guy's hands fit completely around your neck. It's like a vice squeezing the life out of you. All I heard was a referee counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. The man doesn't break. Man, there are rules. But you know something? If you'll just tell me what yours are, I'll be glad to play by them. And if you don't want rules, Giant, give me what you got, big man, because I got something special for you.
All right, we are getting ready for the big main event here tonight of the Survivor Series. You've got your big band prepared for action tonight, Slick.
Exactly. Believe me, the big hour is drawing near, and the brain and myself have spent a many an evening putting our wits together, brother, and we've come up with a system of elimination that will not be denied.
All right, Billion Dollar Man, Ted DiBiase.
Thanksgiving? Who cares? The only thing I give thanks for is the size of my bank account. But you, Hercules, you are going to give thanks tonight because you are finally going to realize your position in life. That is as my slave. Gentlemen, the caviar and champagne are on ice. We are going to celebrate right tonight.
All right, the biggest man in the Survivor Series, Honky.
Hey, brother, it's called Survivor Series, and you looking at survivors.
All right, very good. The brain, Bobby Heenan.
Well, I'll tell you something. I'm going to show you something that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be showing proper respect to King Haku, and so is everybody else.
All right, can the Red Rooster talk?
Can I talk? Yes, I can talk, and wait till you see me wrestle. Brain, I won't let you down.
You never have yet.
All right.
Now we're all bound for the king.
All right, King Haku, and finally, Big Boss Man, possibly tonight you could be right across from none other than Hulk Hogan.
First of all, the big boss man's a survivor. My team's a survivor. Hogan, our paths are going to cross again. You remember what happened last time. One thing's for sure, boy. I'm going to hurt you bad, leave you laying like the dog you are.
You gentlemen, as they head to the ring, get ready for the big main event here in the Survivor Series.
Those guys are sort of counting their chickens before they hatch yet.
With his manager, the Buffalo Style, Slick, co-captain, Honky.
Alright, so it's time for our main event. We got the Jabsaw Bros, the Twin Towers. Akeem, nearly christened, obviously he was Oh My God with Slick. The heel Red Rooster, who was doing the Gracie train with Heenan.
Yeah.
And King Haku with the Brain. And the $1 Million Man with Virgil. And co-captain, the Big Boss Man. Well, Slick's already in the ring. So yeah, everyone's got a manager, haven't they? So they're taking on the co-captain, the Macho Man with Liz, Coco Beware, Hillbilly Jim, Hercules, man, we are going down the pecking order here.
Yeah.
And co-captain Hulk Hogan, who's the only guy who gets his own theme.
Yeah. Did they never actually make a MegaPowers song?
No.
No?
They didn't mash up the songs either.
No, like not necessarily mash up, but like they could have written a song.
Yeah, anyway, King Haku, you were wondering there was, because where was King Harley Race? And obviously
I assure you I was not wondering that.
Why not? Well, I'm going to tell you anyway. Race suffered a back injury when he was wrestling Hogan, and so he gave his king gimmick to Haku, who would defend said gimmick to the returning Harley Race at January's Royal Rumble. So he leaves and then comes back in a few months.
Can you think of a worse wrestler to have that gimmick than Haku?
Billy Gunn.
Like, I guess they're kind of trying to do this kind of opposites kind of stereotype.
I'm a savage, but I'm royalty kind of thing.
Yeah.
That'd be alright, but they didn't actually give him any character. They just slapped a crown on him.
Oh, it's
and said, get out there, mate, you know?
Yeah, it's completely stupid, alright. Yeah, a lot of comedy gimmicks and basically, mid-card jobbers in this match. Actually, just with Hercules, a month prior, Heenan sold Hercules to $1 Million Man to be his personal slave. And to wear assless chaps as well.
And get a mask off, axe and smash.
They're fantastic. So Hercules has none of it, and he attacked Heenan, so he turns face officially. But he was jumped by $1 Million Man and Virgil. Yeah, a week before that on TV, Gene was invited to deepest, darkest Africa, aka some street in Harlem, where, oh my god, was transformed into Akeem.
He had strangely effeminate hands. And he was walking out to the ring kind of with one hand on his hip, giving it this, singing the song. Was that his gimmick?
Well, he wasn't gay. But
I look like I could bash you, but when in reality I just want to spoon you.
I butt bash you like.
What? I just thought that was really funny.
He was just trying to be black, and that's what he thinks black people do apparently. So no, I'm serious. Anyway, when they changed him and gave him this gimmick, they got a lot of angry calls and letters for it.
So was that his team that he came out to?
The Jive Saw, bro. Now he's coming out to Slick's team.
Oh, that's Slick's team. No.
Yeah, everyone, you gotta come out to the manager's team. Jesus Christ. So, Macho Man, he should come out to Liz's team, though.
Don't treat me like a woman.
I don't know, the Dixie song. I want you in me.
And the man in Sarn ring. And only when he is out can I walk free of pain. Randy hits the elbow drop and a very never mind. Who's watching this match? Alright. The professional running gag, Red Rooster, he's first out. And I thought it was great. Heenan apologised to the other heels for the Rooster's performance, his big jobber status.
Did he? I actually missed that.
Oh man,
that's really good.
That's one way to get over it. Like, he's at a disadvantage with being, a big cock, like.
Fuck me, this guy.
His gimmick is that he loses, and Heenan is like, "Oh, what the fuck is this guy? I am so sorry. I managed this guy," until he basically gets fired by Heenan and turns face, and gets the support of all of his Rooster boosters. Like, is there any way this gimmick could have gotten over? How could this gimmick get over?
As well as a
they make him like a top hen or something.
He rules the roost.
Fuck, I missed that one.
We'll have a lot of pay-per-views with him in it, so.
Awesome. Yeah. I actually thought that the opening of the match where all the faces were kind of fighting to see who goes in first, and then Macho Man just kind of said, "Fuck this, I'm champion, I'm going to take charge," and he kind of pushes out Hogan, and I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was really awesome booking.
Cool. I was just thinking, just a bit of a demotion for DiBiase. I know, wins and losses and that, but just losing the last two pay-per-view main events, then the Twin Towers being co-captains and not him, I thought, that sucks. Although it was kind of the same with Andre, where he had to share the co-captainship with Bravo. They're just making new people, pushing new people. So yeah, that's pretty good.
Which I'm fine with.
This is a pretty nothing pay-per-view, so why not push new people? Although everyone they pushed in this co-captainship, they never main event. Like, Keem hits the 747, aka the world's strongest flash, on Hillbilly Jim to even the sides. Then,
do you reckon women think that the Rooster has really awesome pecs? I'm so sorry for that. It popped into my head.
Come on, do you not get it?
He's awesome pecs.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, the giant cocker, he'd blow it on many occasions.
God, here we go.
You alright, Steve?
Okay.
Akeem cuts off Coco, and Big Boss Man finishes him off with a Boss Man Slam.
How fat was the Boss Man?
I was just about to say that. He looked terrible.
Like, he must have lost, 50 pounds?
Yeah, Boss Man. I think a big problem is that throughout the night, like, his kind of tummy would jut out and it would start opening his shirt.
Yeah.
Which is quite hilarious.
Yeah.
He probably should have worn like a football jersey kind of material, and just paint the buttons on, as opposed to having an actual shirt that you button up.
Could he not just have a gimmicked shirt made up?
Yeah.
I'm sure that's possible.
Just sew buttons on as opposed to having functioning buttons.
He looked shit, but he's huge. He's absolutely massive.
Yeah. What a brilliant gimmick. You can't fault the gimmick.
Yeah, initially really great teamwork for the MegaPowers. So this is kind of the only part of this match that you really got to take note is the MegaPowers. Initially they're working really well together.
When Bossman was selling for Hogan, this is amazing. He got hit, and he did this sell where he'd kind of turn and look at the lights and do the robot when he was selling. Did you not cop it? It's fucking amazing. You should definitely go back, or at least add it in or something. Really, really funny.
Oh, dear. Coco Beware, he's got the hard head gimmick. Somebody hit his head off the turnbuckle and he's like, no. And he's like, you can't do that to Coco. It's fucking hell, man.
It's every show because Taku has that gimmick as well. He's like you said, junkyard dog, Dynamite.
Good Brit. Hercules gets distracted by Virgil, and the Million Dollar Man gets him with a schoolboy, and then pins him, which happens immediately to him with Macho. And gets the pin as well, so now it's 3 heels versus the MegaPowers. And we get a long ass Ionian nerve grip by Haku on Hogan. Man. He really, oh my god. And he actually stops the Hulk up with, why doesn't anyone else do this? Stops the Hulk up with a thumb to the eye.
Not bad.
That's how you stop a Hulk up or a Warrior. If it wasn't for the Hulk up, the heel would win.
Yeah.
Big Boss Man celebrates after hitting the Boss Man slam on Hogan, but the ref admonishes him. He was like pushing his arms down and said, no, stop celebrating. He's like, I'm just quite happy putting my hands up. Yeah, I'm never going to hit this on a Hogan again. And he's like, no, you can't celebrate. I never said I pinned him. Obviously I didn't. Anyway. Big Boss Man bottled the top rope splash.
Oh, man.
Oh,
terrible.
Bad.
Fucking hell.
The fucking Vicky Guerrero hog splash. Do you have anything before I go into the finish? Well, I thought the last 10 minutes of this pay-per-view was awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I'm from
marking out huge to it.
From when Hulk gets cuffed to when he gets free, those 10 minutes.
Awful business.
No.
So bad and boring, yeah.
It's the only time where the heels get one over on Hogan. Man.
For what? All of that 10 minutes?
It was great. Alright, Slick grabs Liz and pulls her to the entranceway. And Hogan intervenes. And in the schmoz, the Big Boss Man handcuffs Hogan to a bottom rope, which is not... So he doesn't have access to the tag team corner, the faces, so... That means that Macho Man can't tag him in at all.
Yeah, not that he could do much anyway, yeah.
But I thought this plays in really well because the Boss Man would get counted out and he batters Hogan with the nightstick, so it's technically 2-on-2. Boss Man hits Savage with the nightstick, well he's already out, so Akeem gets DQ'd. So technically it's Haku versus the MegaPowers. Good luck, Haku. Hogan is still handcuffs, and there's a great shot of Slick taunting Hogan with the keys. And Haku's in control of Macho, and there's some great shots of Macho getting battered, and he goes to the corner, and then he's kind of, where the fuck's Hogan, Oh, it was great. Pat Patterson was at ringside.
Was he?
He was. He was just with his arms crossed and doing nothing.
Kevin Nash me.
Pay-per-view payday. So Savage can't tag out. Liz eventually gets the keys from down Slick, and Ventura says she's stealing his wallet.
That was great.
Of all people, every face in the company, Liz stealing the wallet. And so she frees Hogan, and he gets the hot tag, he dominates, and Hogan quickly gets the win with the big leg drop.
He killed Haku. King Haku.
Yeah, so the MegaPowers are they say this all the time, it's like, the sole survivor means that you're the only one left, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, the Hogan and Savage, the sole survivor.
Yeah, and it's not just the commentators that are saying it, it's announced.
Yeah.
The sole survivors are, I think it's every single one.
Yeah. So there's a fantastic shot of Hogan lifting Liz in celebration, and Savage is just getting his wherewithal, and he sees it, and he's pissed off. And it's like,
yeah, I'm totally with you there. I thought it was absolutely amazing foresight and book. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, I can't dispute that. It makes me look forward to the next tape.
Yeah, totally.
But he comes around to it and he still celebrates. And then there's a post-match interview with Ventura and Savage where Ventura really pressures Savage about it. And he's like, oh, I saw something in your eye. What was that about? And Savage fobs it off. Ventura relishes that there's like the start of the cracks in the MegaPowers, that the faces are having problems, and he's marking out to it. I have to say, Hogan and Macho actually came up with the year's worth of storylines, punctuations, all ahead of time.
Really?
So before WrestleMania 4, they were like, this at WrestleMania 5.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that was the end of it. It was just basically, this match was just to show the MegaPowers, they're a face, but there's something a bit rotten going on in the MegaPowers.
Mean Gene, I'm here in the dressing room with undisputed World Wrestling Federation champions Randy Macho Man Savage. Macho Man, I got a question for you. When you won the Survivor Series and you were standing in the middle of the ring with Elizabeth between you and Hulk Hogan, raising both your hands in victory, I saw Hogan peering out to the crowds like he always does. I saw Elizabeth enjoying the adulation. But Macho Man, I saw something a little different in your eyes. What was going on, Macho?
All you saw, Jesse Ventura, was the eyes of determination, yeah. And possibly the eyes of victory, yeah. The eyes of victory and the eyes of determination is what was happening at that particular moment, yeah. You got nothing on me, man, no. Won the match, yeah.
I understand victory. I understand determination, Macho, but I saw something else. When that match was over and the lovely Elizabeth was up in that ring with Hulk Hogan, and Hogan had the 24-inch pythons wrapped around her, Macho Man, I don't want to know what was in your eyes. I want to know what was going through your mind at that moment.
What was going through my mind at that moment was to be the sole survivor, which I was. One man was a sole survivor, and that was the Macho Man Randy Savage, yeah. World Wrestling Federation champion, yeah. That's what I am now, and that's what I am now. Yeah, now I am. Macho. That's okay, man. Not right now. I'm going to attend to some new business right now. You understand that? I'm done here, man. I'm done here, yeah. I'm the sole survivor, yeah.
New business? I think there's a little bit more to all of this. Back to you, Mean Gene.
Survivor Series concept in general, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. Like, I think a pay-per-view suffers if there's no belts on the line, or at least even something like King of the Ring. There's something on the line. I know it's only a crown or whatever, but even a title shot as it became. But with the Survivor Series, you get matches, a load of wrestlers. I mean, they might have individual feuds, but they're just lumped into teams. With other than I hate this guy and he hates that guy. There's no real reason for them to be wrestling. The matches are generally very long, and the wrestlers get gassed, and because of that, the quality suffers. Love the match if it's two different stables, either 4 or 5 guys wrestling, like say DOA versus Los Barrios.
Yeah.
That for me is the pinnacle of the Survivor Series.
That's not 97.
So in general, as a pay-per-view, one Survivor Series match is absolutely adequate.
Would you like a women's one as well?
No.
No. I quite like the Survivor Series, mostly because it's a bit of a roster. It's a roster gut check. So it's like, I consider it like the poor man's Royal Rumble, where you get to see 30 people. In this one, you probably get about 30 people as well. I know you get some fuck finishes, but it's quite a nice occasion. And overall, what do you think of the pay-per-view?
I thought it was very poor. Now, and honestly, I thought the tag match was the best match. After that, just nothing. There was just until the very, very, very end, which I thoroughly enjoyed. But other than that, I mean, it's your standard fare kind of stuff. And I mean, as a Survivor Series concept, it did what it was supposed to, and it pushed people. But I mean, just in general, the matches were of high quality.
Steven?
I pretty much agree with that. Unlike Steve, I thought the tag match was the worst match of the night. I thought it was appalling. I thought main event was the best match, mainly due to the booking and the kind of really the basically Hogan and Savage and the end. The Jake Roberts, Andre and Warrior promos were all superb. They kind of raised the show a bit, but overall, very, very poor show. I have 3.5 out of 10 written down on first. Now that I thought about it a bit more, I thought the booking was awesome. 4. You know, with
That's still a fucking caution something.
We're so generous.
with 5 being average,
Yeah.
it's definitely lower than average.
Okay. I actually quite enjoyed the pay-per-view. That said, I was zapped of all of my will after the first match, so after the first 40 minutes I had to take a break, and watching the rest of the pay-per-view was a breeze. I quite enjoyed it. So I see if first match I'd have to give like a 4, but the other part of the show I'd give like a 7, so that probably averages out as what, like 5.5 or something.
That's okay.
Like there's nothing...
So better than average?
Yeah, slightly better than average, no?
Okay.
Oh, 1980.
1987.
So myself, like, I thought the pay-per-view, it's most memorable for like the number of debuts you see here. So like the Brainbusters, the Rockers, Perfect, Blazer, Scott Casey, you know. I mentioned it already, like DiBiase getting demoted, Twin Towers, Haku given the spotlight, and we see it with Andre. He's now in a feud with mid-carder Jake Roberts, bringing him up. That's great, you know. The awesome drama by Macho Man. I love the closing 10 minutes of this. I love the MegaPowers, the slight cracks in.
But that was amazing.
Yeah, the very end.
Yeah.
But one of the worst things here, like, unfortunately, they got a lot of jobbers, you know, filling out the numbers in the Survivor Series matches, which I imagine this is why they stopped doing so many Survivor Series matches. Like, you have too many jobbers on the card, like Sam Houston, the Killer Bees, not as the Killer Bees, the job guys with the Survivor Series t-shirt, Dangerous Danny Davis, Ron Bass, Conquistadors, and obviously ShamWow, fucking Ventura. Yeah, first match far too long, over 40 minutes. Warriors match is too short, they cut it in half. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Like.
Best match I have, main event, of course.
I probably, although I love the finish to the main event, I thought Warriors match was done quite well.
I thought the editing was so
cut to shit, though.
severe that I just don't think it's even right to judge it.
They cut the first 2/3 of the match and left unpaid. So.
And
best match?
Tag match for me.
So split on this one. It's really, really bizarre.
And worst match, it's a toss up between the.
the Red Rooster do that, did he? Sorry, fuck me.
No, this is going to be awesome.
He's got more puns than the Killer Bees.
Yes. I can't wait.
Oh god.
When's he going to retire? 4 years.
And then it's for the worst match, a toss up between the Warrior match and the Jake match. MVP, it's probably going to be the same for all of us. I'll go for Savage. I thought he was, even just his facials, everything that he put across at the very end of the pay-per-view, I just thought was phenomenal and set it up so well.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I loved his selling. He was selling for Haku.
I don't have Macho. I've gone back to the usual, Jesse Ventura, with, wait for it, a special mention to Smash. Because I thought he did so much work in that tag match. He was in and out every 5 seconds.
A lot of clubbing blows there.
Yeah. So, special mention for Smash.
Excellent. So, Mr. Roydie, probably not go to Smash.
Oh, no, it doesn't. I have 4 names down here, actually. I have the great Jim Powers, of course. Warrior, obviously. The British Bulldog, and Rick Rude. Take your pick from them all. They're all ridiculous.
I think I'll go for Rude. Because he looked just ridiculously ripped, like crazy ripped. And I suppose looking at Warrior and then let's see him at WrestleMania 6, what it looks like. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. The show would be all the better if it was 4-on-4. I know you lose the clever tagline, you know, from 87, but...
Teams of 5 strive to survive.
But I think that the quality of each match would be better because you've less clusterfuckiness. They'd be shorter and you get more matches in the show. I just think it'd be much better with 4-on-4.
That's fair point. That's what they did in a few years ago.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. And actually, talking about 80s phrases, where's One Man Gang with, like, 88 was great, but 89 is mine. So yeah, alright, let's go to the Wrestling is Awesome segment. Now today, I've actually picked it out ahead of time. We're gonna go watch The Running Man, starring Jesse Ventura as Captain Freedom.
Oh, fucking yes. I love this. I actually want to watch this movie and do a full review. I love this movie.
Awesome!
Captain Freedom to wardrobe. Captain Freedom to wardrobe on the double.
Forget it, Killian. I won't do it.
It's not a request, moron. It's an order.
I don't need this crap. This stuff is garbage. I was killing guys like this 10 years ago with my bare hands. I'm not going for any of these tricks. This is a sport of death and honor. Code of the gladiators.
Cap, will you spare me the combat Zen speech? What the hell's the matter with you? Can't you see what's going on out there? This isn't a game. They're betting on Richards up there.
Bullshit.
Get out of here. Get him out of here. What's the matter? Steroids make you deaf?
This is an incredible moment in sports. Captain Freedom out of retirement and still undefeated champion.
Anyway, excellent stuff. So yeah, I think really good show today. I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, really good show.
Yeah, really good show.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, okay, so we better wrap it up. So from Mr. O.C.
Yep.
From V1.
Take care.
Spike your hair.
Yeah.
By the way, don't say Hogan calls $1 million man the multi-million-dollar man.
Multi-million-dollar man.
That's very, complimentary. You know, it's like calling Brett calling Sean like the very sexy boy.
He's just that handsome man.
That's an amazing point, Steve. Very. What a cutie, like.
I tend.
Or, going out and telling Billy Gunn that, you know what, Billy Gunn, you have a great arse.
Soon to be entering the ring area, the King, Harley Race.
Well, we hear that triumphant music as the King is making his approach to the ring here in Boston Garden. Gorilla Monsoon along with his lordship Alfred Hayes. He's in for a rude awakening as he faces what a powerful individual in the Ultimate Warrior.
I wonder if he's done his homework. He usually does, Harley Race. He's very competent in that respect.
The Weasel, very conspicuous by his absence.
Well, he may be here, who can tell?
Never can tell with him. That body has seen it all.
And his opponent, soon to be making his way to the ringside area, weighing 275 pounds, the Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, take a look at him. Is he on fire or what? What a powerhouse.
That certainly is an intimidating sight. The King race, he doesn't seem to be able to make head or tail of this man.
They're both on the second turnbuckle on the inside looking for crowd approval. I don't think the King got very much.
No, I don't think he did either. That was a waste of time.
Well, it won't be too long now, Your Lordship. Coming up very shortly, March 27th, Trump Plaza, Atlantic City Hotel and Casino, WrestleMania 4. In that particular event, this man right here, the Ultimate Warrior, will have a real test of strength as he faces Hercules.
Yes, and isn't that an interesting, intriguing, and exciting thought? The fact of him going head-to-head, toe-to-toe, nail-to-nail, and definitely power-to-power against Hercules.
Well, there are so many important things going to happen out of Atlantic City on March 27th as we have a 4 p.m. Eastern starting time for that event. First time in the history of professional wrestling that the World Wrestling Federation Championship will be decided, whoa, as he does a 360 out of there and a single elimination tournament.
Yes, and while you were saying that, we watched the sheer power, the awesome power of the Ultimate Warrior as he dragged that arm of the King and just hurled him completely over the top rope. Yes, that tournament is certainly mind-boggling.
It certainly is. In order to survive, of course, in that particular single elimination tournament, you must be victorious in order to proceed farther on in the tournament.
And what a test of endurance that is going to be.
To reach the end, you've got to accumulate, well, 4 wins. Hanging upside down, slithering down the steps goes the King. He's in real trouble.
Well, he was stopped when he went out of the ring, and he seems, as you say, in even worse trouble now.
Other outstanding matches lined up for March 27th, WrestleMania 4 in Atlantic City. Of course, the Tag Team Championship belts on the line. Strike Force meeting #1 challengers, Demolition.
And Demolition have really proved themselves to be an outstanding combination. They have absolutely everything.
That was a low blow by the King. It may have been inadvertent. He may be out.
I think it was inadvertent, but it seemed to catch him on the thigh more than anywhere else, so maybe that was lucky for the Ultimate Warrior. It seemed to be on the thigh more than anywhere else, and one only hopes that Ultimate Warrior can continue after that devastating blow.
Another big match, part of WrestleMania, of course, that 6-man confrontation. Maybe that's where the brain is right now, Your Lordship.
He has training. Working out. Do you think so?
He's got to put the tights on. He and the Islanders, of course, facing. Oh, what a shot!
Oh, my word.
Oh, and another one. Oh!
God.
Of course, we were saying Heenan and the Islanders facing the British Bulldogs and Coco Beware. Whoa! Another 360 by the King, and he's out of there.
Well, this has been all Ultimate Warrior so far. The King hasn't been able to do a thing against this virile, young, powerful athlete.
Certainly will be interesting to see what kind of shape Matilda is in when she returns to WrestleMania.
It will be the first glimpse the public gets of her, I believe, for a long time.
I'm anxious also, Your Lordship, to see how Matilda gets along with Frankie.
Yes, that's an interesting thought. And I believe she's been trained to sniff out Heenan, Bobby Heenan, and wreak a little justice there on him.
Won't take too much sniffing to do that. Celebrities galore lining up for WrestleMania 4, the Wheel of Fortune's Vanna White, and of course Mr. Baseball himself, Bob Uecker, And from the lifestyles of the rich and famous, Robin Leach.
Yes, a countryman of mine. He certainly does a good job. Wow! And Race did a good job there of dispatching the Ultimate Warrior, but you can't keep this fellow down for long.
Boy, he's got that adrenaline flowing before he even hits that ring. He is a dynamic, powerful individual. Yeah. Look at this. Suplex from the outside. Oh, he went right over and behind the King with a reverse sunset roll-up. He got him!
Oh, he made that look so easy. In fact, Race was hardly ever in this match.
What a tremendous victory for the Ultimate Warrior.
The winner of this bout, the Ultimate Warrior.